Welcome to Speakernomics, the official podcast of the National Speakers Association. Created by speakers for speakers. It's your fast track to sharper skills, bigger impact, and a smarter speaking business. Subscribe and download using the link below. And step into the spotlight.
Today, more than ever, you need to stand out. And today's guest is here to help us not only stand out, but become the obvious and only choice for your clients. Hey there, NSA. I'm Ann Bonney, CSP, and I am thrilled to be one of your rotating Speakernomics hosts this year. And this week, I'm honored to welcome Jen Gottlieb. Jen is a former actress who starred on Broadway, and we just bonded over that, and on VH1. And then in 2018, she made a shift and started a very successful PR agency called Super Connector Media. And at the same time, she built a successful speaking career. She was named as a top 50 speaker in 2023 by Real Leaders magazine, and now helps audiences build the courage to be seen, which is also the name of her nationally best-selling book. She's been featured on Business Insider, on Success Magazine, and in Forbes. And you can actually go to her LinkedIn page and see that article, which is great about networking. So for those of you who feel awkward networking, go check that out. She has shared stages with some of the most influential voices in business and personal development. So she's where a lot of us strive to be. And I'm super excited to learn from her today. And she is here to help us learn how to harness visibility as our most powerful business strategy, especially in today's competitive speaking world. Jen, thank you so much for joining us on Speakernomics. We're thrilled to have you here.
And that wasn't awkward at all. That was actually fun because you read that in such a great way. It was like very professional. I'm going to clip this recording and I'm going to use it to like amp myself up before I go on stages, just in my headphones. It's really good.
No, well, there you go. I got a face for radio, I've always been told.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so happy to be here. So excited. We're talking about my favorite topic to my favorite type of people, speakers. So let's dive in. Where shall we go with this?
Yeah, well, first of all, I want to let everybody know that you're just entering our beautiful NSA world by coming to Influence this summer, 2026. So we're super excited to welcome you there, and everybody will be thrilled about that. So yeah, welcome to the NSA world.
Thanks. I'm so excited. Like I said, I have a couple of friends. Rachel Diazzo is another one. I was just voxering her. Like so many friends that are involved in this world and they're like, you have to come. And I'm like, it actually sounds like a dream. Like all of my favorite things happening in one space. So I'll be there. I'll be excited. So if you're listening to this and you want to come find me and say hi, I'm going to be the new girl. So I would love all of the highs and the friends to sit with at lunch and stuff. So
she'll be the one on day 3 wandering down the halls with that blank look on her face going, it's too much. It's just too much. We've all been there.
Isn't that the feeling you want to have when you go to a conference like that? Like total fire hose, overwhelm.
Well, that you will get in Austin this summer. All right, well, but let's jump into what we're talking about here. You know, we're going to talk about magnetic visibility. We're going to talk about personal branding and all of that stuff. But I want to start with what your book is about, which is overcoming the fear of being seen. This is, it's kind of the foundational piece. If we're going to blast our voices out there, we can't be resistant to being seen, to sharing our voice, to sharing our story and all that stuff. So share some of your tips on, overcoming that fear.
So it's so interesting because the people that are listening to this podcast right now are mostly speakers. I would say that's probably the biggest audience that's listening to this. And it's funny because us speakers are great getting on stage, speaking in front of a whole bunch of people. We feel very confident in that. In fact, we love it more than anything. But I talk to enough speakers and analyze enough speakers' brands to know that many speakers, including my former self, really do not feel comfortable sharing who they are on platforms like social media. I know a lot of people struggle with that, which is interesting, like speakers specifically, because when people think of speakers, they're like, oh, they're the most confident people in the world. They don't have issues being seen. They don't have fear of visibility or posting on social media. And it's so ridiculously common. And I want to let you know, if you're listening to this right now and you are feeling that too, you're like, yeah, gosh, I'm a speaker, but like I hate social media and I hate creating videos online. I just hate it. I was there. I was exactly the same as you. And I'm an actress. So like times it by 2, like speaker and actress, so comfortable being in front of the camera around people. But for some crazy reason, picking up your phone and sharing who you are as you are authentically for the world to see and potentially judge is one of the most terrifying things in the world. And it's completely normal. And I,
And that's the key, right? Is the being judged. We live in a world where everything we post lives on. So that judgment is the fear, right?
it does, but here's the thing that we always have to remember, okay? No one is really paying that close attention to you.
It's true, right?
All right, I'll just share with you a very, very quick story that made me realize that. I thought when I was posting online, and this was before social media turned into interest media. So, really quick side note, we're no longer living in the world of social media. It has changed into interest media, meaning the posts that you put out onto the internet do not get shown to your followers. The content that you make gets shown based on what people are interested in. So, it gets shown in the algorithm to people that have specific interests. So, you can post all day long and you're going to have followers that are not going to see any of your stuff for years and years and years if they're not interested in what you're talking about. And a lot of your content, if it's very specific to a specific interest, so for instance, if you're talking about change, your content is only going to be shown to people who have shown the algorithm that they're interested in change and what you're talking about. But this was before that happened. So before that shift happened, back in the day, I was posting all the time online and I had a big pivot in my career. I started working with my husband. We started building this PR agency, and I was no longer a fitness person because my job after I quit acting, I was a personal trainer and I had a fitness business. I had pivoted to being in PR and visibility and having this company with my husband. And we were posting all the time. So I thought everybody in my life knew everything about me. In fact, I was very nervous about that because it was very terrifying for me that people would be judging this pivot that I made and who is she to be starting this company with her husband, like her boyfriend. So I went out to lunch with one of my good friends who is also on social media all the time. And I went with my boyfriend and I were there with this friend that I knew for a fact, like had to know what I've been doing for the past couple of months because he's on social media all the time. And he's like, "So Jen, how's your fitness business going?" And I'm like, "Dude, I've been posting for months about the fact that I'm no longer in fitness and we're doing PR, we're doing visibility." And it clicked right there in my mind. I'm like, "You didn't notice?" Because I was sitting there so nervous, so worried, like everyone's thinking something about me right now for talking about something different. So in my head, nobody's paying attention to you. And I say that with so much love because think about it. What are we worried about and thinking about, especially when we're scrolling social media? We're not sitting there judging people and remembering what they posted yesterday or thinking about what they're putting out there. We're thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about if people are judging our content. So I want everyone that's listening right now to remember the first thing is that no one's really judging you. And if someone is judging you, that's not somebody that you should actually care about. The end.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's such an important thing to remember when we're on stage or on podcast or on, wherever is a lot of times that judgment doesn't last very long, even if and oftentimes it's not even about you.
It's never about you, I don't
Right.
think. I think that if someone is judging you, it always has to do with something that they see in you that maybe they are like they're seeing something in you that they're too afraid to do themselves. And so they're reflecting that back on you. And that's their problem, not yours. So I think it's really important. A lot of speakers understand this when being on stage. Like I get it, not everybody in the room is going to like me. We've all been on stages where so there's that guy in the front row that's on his phone or looking at you like he hates you, right? We've all had that. Yes, we know that. We're used to that. We get it. And it's fine. But I think we create bigger stories in our head about social media and what people are thinking about us. When really, if you really watch and analyze the way you consume on social media, you'll notice that you're not sitting there like that guy in the front row judging someone and analyzing them. And even if you do for 2.5 seconds, you forget about it later and it does nothing to that guy. Like I think we overthink it. And what happens is that we allow this story of what we think other people are thinking of us dictate our destiny and our future. Because being seen on social media and building a brand has the potential to completely transform your entire life, especially in the world that we live in today. It is no longer negotiable. I used to say a couple years ago, I was like, if you don't want to create a personal brand, you don't have to. It's optional. Like, it's fine. Do whatever you want to do. I don't care. Do your thing. You can, you don't have to, whatever. I've changed that and I've planted my flag, and it is non-negotiable in today's world that you have a virtual footprint. And let's go a step further. If you are trying to be a speaker and get on stages and be a thought leader and be chosen to get on a stage and talk about your message to a room, it is imperative that not only do you have a strong virtual presence online that showcases you as the expert in your space, but in 2026, in the trust recession, it's also imperative that you have an audience that is paying attention to you and you come with a built-in audience. Because now event planners are looking for so much more than just a thought leader. They're actually looking for that leverage that their audience brings. So in today's world, your audience is your greatest asset. It's better than money. If you look at it, most of like the biggest speaker fees and the most opportunities to get on top podcasts or to be on Netflix shows, to get opportunities to be on major big stages, they're not necessarily going to the most qualified people or the best people or the most talented people. Those opportunities are going to the people with the biggest audiences.
The
We all
ones who
know that.
put the butts in the seats.
That's exactly right. That's how it works.
All right. So you're saying the main piece of personal branding is shown on the virtual footprint. So what are all the aspects of our virtual footprint that we need to have? Because we know we need to have a website. We know we need to have video so people can see us speaking. But this social media, AKA interest media, you just blew my mind, by the way, is you're also saying is a vital piece of that.
Well, it's more than, I mean, think about if you watch anything right now that you watch that's like a mainstream situation, you're going to see some person that has chosen to be on that platform because they have a whole bunch of followers on social media. But let's talk about just social media for a second. So I'm talking about LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the social media platforms, which are the places that we get attention today. And all of those places that we are able to build audiences on today are going to change very, very drastically within the next couple of years. So before I say what I'm about to say, I'm going to say there's a caveat right now because we have about 2 to 3 years. This is my estimate. I've been talking to a lot of people about this. About a 2 to 3 year window to build our personal brand as big as we can before AI comes and changes the entire way that we consume, everything. The way that we consume, the way that we can build brands, the fact that it's free, the fact that you can right now post a video online and market your product, your service, your story, your speaking for free. That is not going to be the case. That's my guess. That's what I'm thinking. But I think that I'm going to be right because a lot of other people that are very, very smart that I'm listening to are saying that too. But like, what do you need to have in the social media platform that we live in today when it comes to building attention? If you think about how we work, like let's say I meet someone, let's say I'm hanging out with my friend Cassandra Worthy, and she's like, you need to know Anne. Like, Anne's amazing. She talks about change also. You should really know her. She should be on your podcast. You should invite her to speak to your stage leaders community. What am I going to do when I hear about you? What's the first thing I'm going to do?
Go look me up online.
That's exactly what I'm going to do. But I am not going to go look you up on Google. And most people also aren't. I'm going to go to Instagram. I'm going to go to Instagram. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look up your name on Instagram and I'm going to scan. I'm going to look at a couple of things. And this is not like me judging you and like me thinking like, okay, these are the things that I look at. This is just the automatic thing that happens to people's brain. It's automatic. It's perception. It's right when you look at it within a first couple of seconds, you're going to make that, oh, I know who this person is. I know what they talk about. I understand their vibe. I get it within the first few seconds. So I'm going to look at like, okay, how many followers do they have? That's right up there at the top. And whether you like it or not, that's a credibility marker. And I know that people say it doesn't really matter how many followers you have. A lot of people are in that camp. But when it comes to somebody making the decision if they're going to take you seriously or not, and if they're going to press the follow button or they're not, people like to jump on the bandwagon that other people have already jumped on. So if they see that you have a lot of followers, oh, this person must be credible. They must be special. Other people must like them too. I'm going to follow. Whereas somebody that only has, under 1,000 followers, it's questionable. It just is. And I'm not saying this from my opinion. I'm saying this from the perspective of anybody that's opening the internet and looking at that, looking at someone that has a thought leadership role. And should I trust this person? And we talked about the fact that there's a trust recession right now. And that's because we don't know what's real and what's fake. And there are a lot of scam artists on the internet right now. And people are very, very weary. And we want to have those extra little credentials. So I'm going to look at the follower count. I'm going to look at the content. I want to see subconsciously, if I'm thinking, oh man, she's a speaker, she's a thought leader, she's a change expert, I want to immediately see videos of you, Anne, talking about your expertise, talking about change, talking about what you do, like on stage. I want to see footage of you on stage right there when I open the social media platform so that I can connect, oh, speaker, thought leader, change, and got it, right when I looked at it in a snapshot. It's almost like your online resume that people look at for like 2.5 seconds to get the message or not. So I would say Instagram is major. I would. And then, of course, you have all of the other platforms for different reasons. And I would look at LinkedIn as like that's your B2B platform. There are a lot of event planners on there looking for thought leaders and experts to come in and speak to their organizations. And you want to make sure that you're showcasing your expertise every single day. You want to be the expert or the thought leader that when you walk into a room, people say to you, oh my God, Anne, I see you everywhere. Every platform I open, I see you. I see you on LinkedIn. I see you on Instagram. I open YouTube and there you are. I see you. That is what you want because you want to be top of mind. When an event planner is thinking, who am I going to bring in to speak to blow away my event? Like they're going to love this person because this person is so hot right now. Whoever is top of mind for them that they're seeing all over their social media platforms. Almost every single discovery call I get on right now with a client starts the same way. I always ask the same question. I say, how'd you find me? Like most of my speaking comes direct. How'd you find me? Well, I just open my social media and you're the only person that I ever see. And I'm like, awesome. I'm doing my job. Right? That's how it works. And so it works in the way of attracting, and then it also works in the way of the second step. And so when somebody's really debating, do I want to hire Anne or do I want to hire Cassandra? Or do I want to hire Jen? Or do I want to hire Juan? Or do I want to hire Aaron? Like I've got all of these amazing speakers, all equally talented, all equally incredible. How are they going to measure who they should bring in? There's going to be a lot of different factors, but I will tell you that one of the factors now in 2026 might have not been this way last year or the year before. One of the factors now is the audience factor, that quality of audience, that brand factor. Because even if you're bringing in an expert to speak to your leadership team and you're not selling tickets and it's not a conference where you're trying to get butts in seats, maybe it's a corporate environment where you're like, I need someone to come in and just speak to my corporation. I'm going to pay them to come in and talk. Yes, we are looking for the best speaker with the best rate that fits, but also they want to look like a baddie. Like the event planner wants to look cool when they bring in a speaker. So if they can bring in a speaker that's got a lot of followers and it's got a lot of street cred and it's got a big audience, then their thought leadership team or their leadership team of their organization is going to be like, damn, like I like
Not
what
Jen
you hear.
Gottlieb.
Like,
Whoa.
whoa, you were able to bring them in? That's awesome. So it just increases the value of your organization if you can tie yourself to a person that has a bigger brand online. And when I say bigger, I do mean a bigger audience. I mean lots of engagement. I mean like ride or die community. I mean lots of content online all the time. It is if you are going to put time and energy into anything right now to build your speaking business, I know I'm talking a lot, but I'm so passionate about this. It is this piece, full stop.
Okay. Yeah. And how would you, the thing I've heard is your meeting planner isn't on Instagram looking for speakers. Was that true then and isn't true now, or is that just baloney?
I don't know all meeting planners, but I do know that I have conversations with a lot of them. And pretty much every conversation I've had in the past couple of months, they have either found me on Instagram or someone recommended me to them. And then they went to the
Just go
Instagram to
peep.
look and to see.
Yeah. Okay.
And my Instagram sells me because I'm making sure that no matter what, at least once a day, I'm posting footage of me on a stage speaking, not because those clips get a lot of engagement because they don't anymore in the algorithm, but it's part of my overall like resume online. I want someone to be able to click on that and see footage of me speaking. So I don't even need to send my reel. We're not even getting to the point where they play my reel on my website. Like I want them to see the clip and then I want them to see the comments below the clip of people saying, love that. That's amazing. Like so good. There's another
And that's,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
And that's the virtual footprint that you're talking about. Right?
Absolutely.
And it's they go and they say, okay, let me look who this person is on LinkedIn. Oh, they work there. Like they're okay. Let me go look at theirs. So we just do a little stalking. And you said subconsciously when you were talking about them looking at the Instagram and just subconsciously seeing, okay, well, they're legit. So how curated, how vulnerable, how real, how, because so many people are spending so much money these days having videos created and having, this beautifully curated Instagram. But I don't know about you, but I like to see you with Trixie and your dogs, Trixie, Tammy or Teddy and Dexter, and I'm getting all the X names mixed
It's
up.
okay.
All of your, I want to see you and your dogs. I want to see you, spilling coffee on your pants on the way to a gig. I don't know. I mean, but so talk to me a little bit about that piece too, because you talk about the importance of this. Here's me on stage. Here's me being a thought leader. But what about that real aspect, and where's that line?
Yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head. So I do think I'm seeing a mistake that a lot of speakers are making, and I want to call it out because I so desperately want to go to some of these speakers that are so talented and they're just getting the social game kind of wrong right now for 2026. So highly curated Instagram, Instagram specifically, or any, I mean, that's really the only platform where you can really highly curate it right now, is very old. And those posts will not do well in the algorithm anymore. So like a
Mm.
static post with like really pretty fonts saying a quote or something like that will not do well. Even the very produced clips of you speaking don't do that well in the algorithm. However, I still do think that they're important to sprinkle in for your virtual resume. But I would say that right now, what's working on social media is authenticity, is face to camera videos, is, a mixture of that though. So for those of you that are like, but I don't want my brand to be like me in my car and me walking around with my dogs and my kids, that's a-okay. You do not have to do it that way. You can follow people like Gary Vaynerchuk. He's very good at this. He doesn't talk about his personal life at all, but you feel like you know him and you feel like he's very vulnerable and real in all of his clips because they're him talking to somebody in the hallway after he spoke, and they've clipped him saying something really powerful. And then he's talking about the fact that he wants to buy the New York Jets, sitting in his office playing with his little Pokemon things and, all the stuff that he has. And so you feel, but you don't see his kids. You don't see his family. So that's a really great example of somebody that maybe doesn't feel comfortable sharing, because a lot of people don't. That's okay. But you can still feel like you authentically know the person. So there's a fine line that you can play with. But if you do want to get a lot of engagement and followers and, a lot of action on your social and really build that brand when it comes to numbers, then you definitely want to be more real and more authentic and less produced. Those videos and those posts are going to do the best. They're the hardest to do because, especially as a speaker, you feel like you want to be performing and you want to be looking perfect and you want to be very rehearsed. So I know that that's very challenging for a lot of people here. So it does take practice, just like speaking takes practice. One of the things I do to get comfortable with this, there's two things. I want to give you guys two really tactical takeaways that you can have. Number one, I've been going live on social media while I put my makeup on every day for the past 3.5 years. And I do that every day. You guys can join me every morning, unless I'm speaking. If I'm speaking, I don't do it because there's too much going on. But I prop up my camera, I have no makeup on, and I put my makeup on my face, and I go live in front of whoever wants to come and join me. And the reason that I do that is because I'm a performer and I really want to get comfortable not performing and being on camera in front of an audience and talking to them like we're just hanging out. So when I do this, I'm practicing answering questions for people, talking to people, being vulnerable, not having any makeup on, not knowing what I'm going to say. None of it's rehearsed. Sometimes I'll throw in pieces of my keynote that I'm practicing so I can rehearse in front of an audience. And that has drastically changed the way that I can show up in a face-to-camera video. The way that I even show up on stage is much more authentically. If someone has a camera on me, I'm not like, hey, jazz hands. I'm like, Jen. So we got to get the reps. And the second thing that I will tell you to help you be more real on camera, if you feel like anytime someone puts you on the spot, you're like, I'm, is to pull up your camera when you're going to make a face-to-camera video and think about a friend that you want to send a video message to. So a really good friend. So I'll always use my husband, Chris. Like, all right, I'm going to talk about how to build a personal brand in 60 seconds. That's going to be my reel, but I'm going to tell Chris. So I pull out my camera and I go, hey, Chris. That's the first line of my reel. I say, hey, Chris. So I get into the zone of, oh, I'm just making this video for Chris. No one else is going to see it. So I'm just talking to the camera as if I'm talking to a friend, and I pretend that I'm not going to post it. And then when I edit it later, I cut out the hey Chris part and I just post the video so it's like a video note to a friend. So those are two little hacks that you guys can use to get more comfortable being totally yourself on social media.
I love it. I love it. And another thing that comes to my mind as you talk about this, social media is now interest media, and it's going to show what people are interested in. Should I strategically plan my content based on that concept? Because now I'm sitting here going, okay, I need a spreadsheet that has who do I want to interest and blah, 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 and like for content. And yet you're saying, you don't know what you're saying. Be authentic, be in the moment. Let me be playing with my Pokemon and share the idea that just popped into my head. So talk to me about strategic content.
Very good question. So we all have to understand what our goals are on social. It's really important for you to understand that. What game are you playing? Because there are different games to play. There's the media game where you're just going for views. So if you're just going for views, we're going to try to say the most outrageous thing in the world and do like go and look at what are the viral trends right now, do the viral trends, whatever they are, say something outrageous and get a bunch of people to view and get your views up. That's the media game. A lot of people are playing that game because they want to get brand deals. They want a lot of views, a lot of engagement. I think that that game is dying, to be completely honest, because AI is going to come in, it's going to take over that game. We're going to be competing with robots, and we can't compete with that anymore. So you're either playing that game or you're playing your business game. And what your business game is you're going to get less views, but you're going to be much more niche down. You're going to be very, very specific on the things that you talk about. I like to have 4 core brand pillars. So I have 4 different topics that I dive into. You can have 5, you can have 3, I have 4. So my 4 topics: public speaking, personal branding, women empowerment, and sometimes I talk about manifestation and mindset every once in a while. And that kind of goes into like relationships and stuff. So I know that specifically when I'm creating a piece of content, let's say my public speaking content, I'm trying to get into the search into SEO for public speaking right now. So Instagram is also, right now it's an SEO tool, essentially, just like Google. So if you go into Google and you search public speaking, there's going to be Instagram videos that come up of people that say the words public speaking in their Instagram videos, because Instagram is now tied to SEO. Also, people are using Instagram specifically in order to find specific videos on specific topics. So they'll go into search and they'll say tips about public speaking. And what you want is your video to be so targeted to that so that your video comes up when they search that. So I want to make sure that I'm saying the words public speaking in my video. I have in my caption, it says the words public speaking. But let's say I'm going on a different brand pillar. Maybe I'm talking about personal branding. I'm going to make sure I say the words personal branding, right? And so it's very specific. So those videos are going to go directly to the people that are interested in that. So when I'm building my speaker program or I'm planning on it, like I do a launch model. So I have a program called Stage Leaders. It's for experts and authors and thought leaders that want to become speakers. So all of my content leading up to that launch, I'm just speaking to my girl that I wanted Stage Leaders. And so what's she interested in? Public speaking, personal branding, getting on stage, confidence. I'm talking about those things so that my video goes to the right people. That does not mean that those videos are going to get a lot of engagement, but they're going to be the right engagement. So I'm trading high views for the right views. And every
Targeted
once in a
views.
while, that's good. Depends what game you're playing. But sometimes, Anne, I want to get a spike in, I want to have a viral moment. Because in order to grow, we got to have those viral moments. So every once in a while, I will throw Instagram a bone, and I'll do something that I know will get me a lot of views every once in a while. So I have a lot of videos that have gone viral in the past. And so what I do is I just double down on what's worked before. So I have a couple of videos that are about relationships, like how you show up for your friends on social media. It doesn't really have anything to do with what I really talk about. It's not really part of my pillars, but they went crazy viral every time I did them. So now I know if I'm not going viral for like a week and I want a nice spike, I'm going to be very targeted throughout the week for my specific brand pillars, talking to my specific people, but I'll throw in a video about like, don't be a lurker on Instagram, so that I can get a nice big surge right there of like more followers, more engagement. They might not be totally targeted, but that's okay. We want to grow the platform. So it's all about knowing your goals and being able to manage the way that you post in that way. And the last thing I'll say before I stop talking, because I know I'm talking a lot, is the fact that I don't have a content calendar. I do not have anyone on my team posting for me. I do everything myself. So I just want to say that I do it as of now. I might hire someone. I don't know what my future is going to look like. But as of now, if you go to my platform and you look, just know that it is a single human being, one person. I do have some editors that will make some videos for me every once in a while. And I post the majority of my content in real time. Meaning I don't put it in a spreadsheet and wait a week for it to go out. I have to be able to read the room. For me, it's very important that I am feeling an energy of where I'm at and what I want to say and what my audience is saying to me and responding to them in real time. That's not 100% necessary, but I do believe that that's one of the things that has helped me grow, is that I'm doing the unscalable thing, and I'm pretty obsessed right now with growing my audience because it's very important to me. So I am really spending a lot of time on it.
I love it. And in this world of you can do a bunch of things with AI, with all the tech, with everything, you can set it all and forget it, but that authentic voice is going to be a whole lot more impactful. And like you said, in the moment. I love that. So there's so much. I have 800 questions I keep writing down. Talk to me about platforms. If we want to maximize with the minute, we want to be authentic. We want to be in the moment. It sounds like Instagram and LinkedIn are sort of the two non-negotiables for speakers. What about the other ones? I mean, girl, I don't have time to be going on and learning TikTok and all the different, threads and Substack and X, and there's so many of them. What are the ones that are great? What do you think? How do we pick? Go.
Yeah, buddy, it's exhausting. Like you're exhausting me talking about it because I'm like, I know, I feel it. I don't touch LinkedIn myself. I probably should, right? Like, so we all got to pick and choose what's important to us. That's why I always go back to what is your goal? What is your goal?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people listening to this podcast right now have different goals.
Yep.
Some people's goals are, I want to book as many corporate speaking gigs as I possibly can. Your content goal is going to be different than mine if my goal is to build audience equity, right? And I want to get in front of people that will sign up for my programs and then also bring me in to speak to their audiences of great people that will follow me and do, it's a different business model. I do think that what we talked about before, overall visibility, building your audience equity, building your asset of your audience is important for everyone. But when you know your goal, then you can really dive into, okay, I have this much time, this much effort, this much energy, where am I going to put it? And knowing the goal will help you with that. YouTube is a completely different animal that I would not recommend anybody doing without an expert helping them. And I don't typically say that, but I've been exploring YouTube in a big way, trying to figure it out myself, talking to a lot of agencies and experts. And it is a very specific type of platform that can be insanely powerful for your brand and your business, like exponential. Like I've seen YouTube create multimillionaires many times over again, my friends. So I think that YouTube is great, but I do think that it is a whole nother animal. Like I'm not an expert in YouTube at all because it's different than Instagram and it's different than Facebook and it's different than LinkedIn. It's different than TikTok. It's a whole different thing. But to go back to your question, where do you focus first? Here's what I would ask myself. What's my goal? Number one, what do I want? Okay. Which platform lends itself to who I'm talking to get closer to my goal? Number two, which platform do I enjoy the most? Because if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to do it.
Don't do it. Yep.
I enjoy Instagram, so I do Instagram. I don't really enjoy TikTok, so I don't really do it. Like I'll just take whatever I create on Instagram and I'll repurpose it to TikTok. But there are so many AI tools that we can use now that can take one piece of content and repurpose it and automatically put it on other platforms. So there's a lot of ways to be omnipresent without having to physically actually do it. So don't get overwhelmed. Just focus in on what you want to create, your goal, what you enjoy, and just start. And typically once you start and you start gaining traction, the road kind of forms for you. It really does. Like it leads you to the next place where your audience is and where you want to go.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. Jen, I literally could ask you, we could have another hour and a half, but we are out of time. JenGottlieb.com is your website. You've mentioned Stage Leaders Community a couple times. What is that?
Yeah, it's an 8-week mentorship experience that I do with thought leaders, experts, authors who want to start speaking on stages and not just in-person stages, all the types of stages that we have access to, like what we were just talking about, podcasts, social media, virtual stages, and conferences and in real life stages, stages that you create yourself to build your audience equity and to build that asset that becomes your marketing machine. So it's an 8-week experience. You can go to stageleaders.com. It's a live thing that I do, so it's only open twice a year. So we'll be opening it again in fall. Go ahead to sign up on the wait list and you'll get all the info.
Awesome. Jen, thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in Austin and welcoming you into the NSA community. But I think this was a phenomenal introduction. Your brain clearly works very well and very fast. And it was an absolute pleasure to get to interview you.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Speakernomics. If you want more bookings, credibility, and connections, your NSA community is waiting for you. Join NSA today. Click the link below and follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and download this podcast wherever you listen.